Welcome everyone to the second part of today's Martech stream, following up after a great session there. In terms of the session today, it's really going to be around data and your business development at your firm. You know, we all know that data is important. You know, Chris from Alex Partners just said data during his presentation. You know, we know it's important, but often it's difficult to know what that actually looks like in practice at your firm. So really today I'm really pleased to be joined by Sarah-Jane from Weightmans. She's the Business Development and Marketing Director. Weightmans have really successfully built their reputation as leaders for data in the legal industry, you know, really cemented that position. So today we're going to be looking at how Sarah-Jane and Weightmans have built that reputation, successfully deployed a data-driven approach. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Alex, and I sit in the client success team here at Passle. So I work with leading global firms all over the world on their kind of content marketing and legal marketing strategy. In terms of the session, really the three key takeaways that hopefully you'll leave the session with are firstly, how you can use data as a real strength and not something that could potentially be a challenge or an obstacle to get over. How you can turn that into a real strength for you in your role at your firm. The second part of the session is going to be around actually, you know, we know data is important, as I said, but what does good look like in practice when it comes to using data for your business development? And then lastly, we're going to look specifically at use cases for using data to kind of predict pipelines for your firm and shape campaigns in your role. So I guess Sarah-Jane, thank you for joining me. It would be really useful, I think, for all of us if we kicked off with a bit of context as to how you in your role and how Weightmans as a firm have really built your kind of reputation as being leaders in kind of the industry for your data approach.
Yeah. So I think that very originally Weightmans' heritage sat in doing claims work for insurers. And so I think way back when, that was the start of the whole data piece really, because it was very much, you know, those types of clients, those big insurers, they want you to capture an awful lot of data about the work that you are doing for them, and they want you to be able to analyse that and use that to predict what might happen in the future. So I think in the context of where we've now got to, that was the important first part of it really, and there was that client imperative in that sector. And what that has meant is that across the firm, data is often spoken about, it's often used, you know, it's not an alien thing to us as a business and to our lawyers, and maybe that has made life a little bit easier for people like me. When we come along and say we want to use data to do different things, then in a way people aren't scared by that to begin with, and they're quite open-minded. It doesn't mean they always want to do what you'd like them to do, but it's at least the conversation is started really, and that makes a big difference, I think.
So that's really a kind of client-centric approach, isn't it? It's really being led by kind of client demand, really.
Yeah, I mean that's very much how it started. I think now, and certainly in what we're talking about here today, that's not really about a client imperative. That's more about how do we want to use data to make our business better, and how do we go about doing that? And yes, it helps us with certain things around, you know, how we deliver content to clients, or how we work out what we're doing with our sales pipeline, etc. But it's not, you know, this is about us really and what we want to achieve. And I think the other aspect that I kind of always say when I'm talking about this that makes a real difference for us, I think there are two other key parts. So one is that we have a data warehouse which was built by our IT guys. And so that enables us to pull data from lots of different systems into one place and use that. And you'll see in a bit later when we show some of our kind of dashboard views how that works in practice. So we can, from a BD and marketing perspective, we can look at everything. We can join everything together. So that's our finance system, our case management system, CRM, email marketing, anything we want. All that gets pulled into the data warehouse. So you can cut it in all sorts of different ways and then visualize it. So that really helps us. And then I think the second part of it is really around how our business services teams work together. So I'm really lucky that we don't tend to have too much. I know when I speak to other people in different firms, sometimes there can be a bit of tension between what finance think you should be capturing or what risk will allow you to capture or whatever might be going on. And actually we don't suffer too much from that. We tend to just talk about it and then come up with the solution. I think that's really helped us, and that might be